تقالتي أتم تعلمتي أتم وافرتي لو أتم مساوتي أتم دك حالك فادار أتم دك تمكر أنا دك حال شرط دك تزمرر أتم دك حالك غنزا دك حالك غريزة لبقول كم تزحلف نسوات جيكم مطر نافذ كم تناي كمالي كم تناي تقبلي ترنافة خيط تعصو مسرع خيط فرسو تزعواوعكم مسوات خوينو عجاكم بحنساب تلقسكم سلستيهم نقر تقارنتي ترنافة جيكم بمسواتي نقر قبلي مسواتي من عقلي صايلنت كم مريت سجيرو نفس ما يسمعت تعزيرو لقاب صايلنت زي ما جرشتو تعاقبيكم بحاجة تسوقوا درب صايلنت نايم مان تمسك الكلام أتم تقالتي أتم تعلمتي أتم قالستي أتم وافرتي لو لما أتم مساولتي كأخذت زحلف مسواتكم غيركم وطرنافة تترنفكم سلستكم بحالة تلقسكم زي مفل لا ينبر نقر تقالا لا بحالة يمكم للعلي أتم طرنفات أتم حلفات أتم بلسات أتم مرسات خمسين صعيدنت حبيركا بعزوق سعقنت أنا ناي برخات سقاي سقاها تتنجغ ترقفو تمدحاسكم تقرصو تنسنتكم تتقلصو سناح بصاي سعرة أنا قصوا على سخانة مسواتو من مبا سناح بصاي كوارتر تقوم بالغري فنجر سلاح بزاي جزء مرة أنا قديم يتعفنج بالغري فنجرة صوت الحمدو في مسوات أنا قديم أتفضل بكال مسوات أنا خميس ملو ولدو خميس ملو إيانا الجم مسواتي أنتم خلفات أنتم تقالتي أنتم تعلمتي أنتم موافرتي حزر ما أنتم مساوتي رجعتم تزحلفي مسواتي جيكم وترنافي مسوات خوين ممي كذا خوين وزي الرأي بين غيظة سعرة سعينت خوين هو جزع نفسنا جيبو سعرنا وقصيدو سعر بين غي سواء سعر بين غي فانك سعينت سعر زيز مجال كذا سعينت خوين هو بدي سعر بين غي وعز كل من قدي سعينت مسوات سعينت مغايدي لكاب سعينت قال كيلاني خيدو نقصو لكاب سعينت مودعت هاي بلن حبيب تسبيو لكاب سعينت منفسي وحبيب تدفيو شمتات متوا خيلهم مخايدي حبيبهم ديوم موت لا يسمعي سمايات من قد تحيزهم ديوم جقانو خارتر سعيرو ترنافة قد خيل سمع أبا خوارتر سمع هذا سعرت تكبر سمع أبا خوارتر سمع هذا قزان تكبر من تعرف أبا خو مجيكا بيت بيعنا تقوز بزي تبركك برينا مورتار تفاتي زي تكسكا الخمام تشديدك جقرا تبركك زي مكر تبركك زي مارخ تماريخ تقول لحي تقول لقلبي تقول لعقلي زي سكر سكر وزي دي حقير تحسبنا بسكر غير لو من الحمام تسعير تمزوا عالكالهم برخاتات ايام من فارتر احمام تسعير اي نوم بسلون اي نكرون اي عملوا تمزوا عالكالهم برخاتات أي أمر تبغى خلهم من بعدات أي أمر تبغى راح خلهم من بعدات كان كي بزوج زي تشبره بسامة قبيت بخام زي تسعره أبونا لبرة دابر وخصم شره وكلات زي تدفره لو مخاطر تشني بحباب تفطره وانت عينا خلوا بزوج على كارش الطرق عينا خلوا له تخرن عينا خلوا له تبغى من كيدي الزاربو تعينا خدمة الزعبو كابو كما يجرنا كما يجرم يوم كأمنا سلستين بحرم تسوي متينا أتم تأيد مراري خمس واد وتولى النات مباخرة تبعتي وتعادتنا تمسكنا قال لي تموينتي تأي مسوات مراري خمس من النات مراري بمن تعينا خدنا عزو نمو خانو خليني يرناي سماي سمايات كرزو تقولون أتقابلكم دمري خمو قمتنا يمنا خاخم تزلملكم هو أبروخ حفل تبكس زبدن تلاليو أنتم تقادلتي أنتم موافرتي أنتم مساوتي كأخم تزحلفة مسوات ونجيبكم وطرنافة تتمارا رحضم تتكونن العلي سعار دمري حوات رايس الاستغم حيلي تنافس ما يسمع أسخطكم لبوتا أخطب لدي في وضحارتها تحاببكم كتريبوا جزائر ساعة لو لجستك أطيبوا أنتم تقالدتي أنتم مقالستي أنتم موافقتي لمن ما مساوتي حتى سعنا رغلكا يوم لو تنصد كاز غلفكا يوم مصردو العلم الكادر زينا شكو مسواتي تخافيكم قصتي وخلقكم تشنتي أبتنا يسرد ميدا خطلكم دعمتكم زنبرت قوادا أبتنا يسرد شنطرو ما يكفكلكم كلا تفطرو فتقول كلية تفتح عقبت شنطخ تكافل وخنبجت كارتون العلم الكادر تناي قبوص من حاتين تقاد افتقبو
Hi everyone, good evening. This is Cyber Power of Tigray, live to you. We have a special guest tonight that we're going to be discussing about the genocide in Tigray. Most importantly, the protest. These are young Tegarus who've been organizing protests in the Bay Area, California. Before I start introduction with their names, we will focus on English, of course, tonight. I will add some Tigrinya in there so our Tigrinya speaking audience also understands what's going on, what we're doing. So I'm going to jump into that real quick. كما يقولكم أحوات كاتر نازل لهم بسايبر باور تجراي أوزيو أجايش لما أنت أقول لكم زلخو أحواتنا كاب باي إيريا كاليفورنيا ناي منعسي تجارو مس ملو ناي باي إيريا زبهر مالت إني أوكلاند سان فرانسيسكو سان روزي كم أون ياو أكاب زل ختمتها بحادة حاوسم سرحو تجارو زين منعسي ون مسوم سرها جراس روت كوينن نايتي تجراي مزيزن هي نجارات كما يقركا نتهزبي بشعبية بأمحارة بصوماليا بإثيوبيا تجراي ناف حاو تولع زلو سلام انت أينا على منقستات كي نهز تجراي قفعي نات السرحي لك أنسيو نات دفرا هتعاونتي نات قتلو نا عالم منقستات كم نقود نا نحلوه خمزة لغيرهم رسي عموني ونهز تجراي سلام انت أي توحيدو زيهم مناسي ياو تخك ليكوان نيلم أب سان فرانسيسكو لما أتي سلام سلف زو علوه خن زاربنا كاري ون أبز مزلو سومون لما أن سومون فبراير 10 حارة أب نيويورك سيتي كنت أخا بنا أفتناي حبرة المنقستات يونايتد نيشن بإنجليزيا بتقرينيا حبرة المنقستات زلو بيرو كنا سلام أفسد نقبرنا صباح ون أب سياتل واشنطن ناي إرتراويان سلام أفسد فوز إيام نا زي حواريتها حزناها بيوتيوب سبسكرايب تجاركم سايبر باور تجراي بزلهم مبتهاد موبايل ناقوركم خط تقوم تخليهم فيسبوك ون لايك نحرقكم لنا كم زي لايك نمس انت لنا خن خط سمنا تخليهم لنا يعني لنا برنامج نحيزي نا انجليزي خن اتينا اذا نحواتنا مناسي شمن ببحر حدا بعلن ني خفالت انا اودينس رزقان كان محيز مسانا ني راياوزيو تنكالت احوات جن مجمرتا غزي لما انتي እና ከምዚ ገረና ጉጅለና መፅአን ሓበሬታታትና ሞራል ንህዝቢ ትግራይ ዝድግፋ መናእሰይ የቀኒየልና ብክብረት ዓዲምና ብክብረት ክትከታተሉ ጥያቄ ጥይቁና ከዓ እቲ ዝገብርዎ ዘለኹም እናመረፅኩ ኣብቲ ስክሪን ክልጥፎ እየ እና እዚ ክብሪ ብክብሪ ጌርና ብስነ ስርዓት እናተረዳእና ክንቅፅለሉ ብትሕትና ይሓተኩም የቀኒየለይ ተኸታተልትና። That was a lot, guys. I'm so sorry. So I did my full introduction in Tigrinya, explain everything that they need to know. I know you guys also understand Tigrinya, so I'm sure at some point whatever I mumbled, we will go to it. But welcome to Cyber Power of Tigray. Ruth, why don't you start off because you've been here before? So if you could do like a brief introduction, your name. We're going to avoid from specific areas in Tigray talking. We're going to be very basic to safeguard our families and loved ones and whatnot. So with that in mind, I will let you go, and then we'll follow to somehow, and then we'll just go that route.
Thank you, Mike. My name is Ruth, and I'm from the Bay Area Tegaru youth, and I'm happy that I'm able to participate here in discussing about the ongoing genocide that's happening in Tigray.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Samhal Belay. I'm also part of the Bay Area Tigray youth group. And, you know, it's a privilege to be, you know, a voice for my people. It's a privilege to be here in front of all of you and express our feelings.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Liu Hailu. I go by Addi though. I'm also part of the Bay Area Tegaru youth group. And then it's an honor to be here, and I want to thank you for using your platform as well.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fanan. I am also a part of the Bay Area youth group with these ladies. I wanted to say thank you again for having us here, for sharing our cause, you know, like for the Bay Area live casting earlier you did. We're here to, you know, spread awareness, talk about everything that's happening in Ethiopia and today, our, you know, like our losses that are happening. Yes.
Thank you. So before we go in details, like briefly, Fernand, why don't you, while you're at it, just kind of go over like what led into the successful march that you guys did today and how much work that you have to put in, and the involvement within the community, how strong the community has become to work together.
Yeah, so the protest today that we had was extremely successful. We did it in San Francisco. It was amazing. We had a great turnout. Our chants were heard. We got some important people speaking, and yeah, the work that we had to put into it was worth it, I would say, because the result was very, very satisfying. We have a huge group. We have a huge community in the Bay Area, from San Jose, Sacramento, San Francisco, Fremont, and we have been trying to raise our voices, and we have been like becoming successful. And San Francisco was a very important place because that is where the UN was formed, and we were able to go to the UN Plaza and say what we had to say and express everything that we had to. And we were went to the city hall and we did the same thing. We were heard, and that is very important thing that happened today.
Okay, thank you. It's okay, you guys can remain unmute. Actually, there's not a lot of background sound that I'm hearing, so I'm going to jump right back to Addi. So I actually watched an amazing crowd in cars, on food, and you guys had the body bags. Talk about that. What's the message about that?
So the body bags were to signify the death that is occurring in Tigray. If you actually like took a closer look at the different sizes of our body bag, at our at the body bags, they showed a family. You know, some were large to show adults that are dying, some were small to show the children that are dying, because it's not only adults that are dying, it's also children. And we wanted to, you know, there's so many that are uncounted deaths in Tigray just because we don't know how many are dead. So this was to show that, you know, there's so many deaths, and to show the like non-Ethiopians and people that don't know about the death to, yes, to signify, to show them that.
Very good. Somehow, so we were gonna go live last night. You guys were so busy preparing for today. Obviously, what people don't realize is how much work is put in behind it, preparing, leading to what. My question for you, knowing how busy we all are and how motivated we are, what gets you going to keep it, you know, wanting to do this?
Yeah. First, I want to say a big shout out to Tegaru everywhere.
Amen.
You know, we all have pre-existing things that we need to do. We all have school and work and families to take care of. But you know, our dignity in being Tegaru, our being proud of being from Tigray, you know, that is what pushes us. I know for me specifically, to think that, you know, my family back home can't, you know, voice them for themselves, to think that, you know, they're sitting at home helpless, and some, you know, so vulnerable in situations like this. That's kind of what keeps me going, is that, you know, if no one's going to speak up for us but us, right? And so specifically with the Bay Area, you know, we have a lot of cities. So we have, I believe, like 4 or 5 cities that we were trying to organize to get together. And, you know, it kind of did take a lot to work for. It took a lot of hard work, and it took a lot of energy. At the end of the day, you could tell that everyone was really happy with the result. You could tell that everyone was really proud of what we had accomplished. This was a protest that was planned by youth. It was really successful. Our adults showed up, our kids showed up, our elders showed up, we showed up. We chanted, we marched. It just meant a lot, and you could tell at the end of the day how worth it is, no matter how tired you are, no matter how exhausting it could be. At the end, it's all worth it. At the end, once your voice is heard, once people understand what your movement is about, once people see what you're fighting for, it's worth it.
Thank you. So I am going last about this question before we move on to the next one. I have a reason why I'm doing that. Oops, what happened to Ruth now? We just lost her for a sec. Okay. We'll get her back on. I think what I am so proud with a lot of the young Tegaru, you described it. Everybody's working together. Is really the point. Doesn't matter what age. You know, I'm a dad, and my youngest one, who's 8 years old, she's participated in every protest that I've gone. So next week in New York is the only protest that she, sadly will miss. But I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna ask a question to Ruth. So Ruth, before you jumped out and jumped right back in, sorry about the connectivity issue that we're having. But so I gave them an opportunity because it's important for you to kind of tell us briefly what it takes to organize everybody. And I don't want minimize the work that everybody's doing, but for you, I've given you extra tasks, actually, like, hey, I need more people. Hey, I need to jump on this. I need to do this, because we want to bring it, we want to bring the awareness. At the end of the day, there's agenda why we're doing this. We have people for over 94, 95 days now, that over 3 months, there's no electricity, no clean running water, no internet to communicate. Tigray is cut off from the world by 2 dictators, 2 evil men. They say they were after 64 or 62 like leaders in Tigray, but now we know that hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced actually millions of people have been displaced internally, and hundreds of them have been displaced to a neighboring country. So, but we don't even know like the death toll at the end of the day. But so that's why we actually organize and we march in. But the amount of the work that you personally have put to, to organize the young Tegaru, to work with them, but to ensure also we cover, social media, a media outlet like this. In LA today, there was some Amhara group. They were countering, saying like, oh, this stuff that we're doing is false. How disgraceful could they be? And what does it mean for you to actually be able to put together these young ladies to organize and to keep us to make us just so proud in this difficult and challenging time?
Yeah, definitely. It's a quite a difficult time for everybody. It's quite a nightmare we're living through, but yet I think what it takes is to honestly, all of us, without knowing each other, some of us who just met each other because of the conflict that started in Tigray, and it's just our hearts and minds were in the same place. And at the end of the day, no matter what, seeing what was happening, you can assess yourself and see what is the right thing to do and what is really happening on the ground. And if
I think she froze on us, but okay. Yeah. So
cool.
we will
hear me?
Oh, there you go. You're back on.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So what I was saying was, it's just like everybody understanding, just evaluating themselves and and asking, how can I help? What can I do? And I think it's just among ourselves finding each other. And I think since we resonated in that sense, we were able to work and kind of find where's our strength and where we can do better and we could be effective. And so we kind of tried out things and we just kept going. And one thing is definitely at the end of the day, it's about humanity and those lives, those numbers. I'm talking about 4.5 million people that are starving to death right now in Tigray, the 2.2 million Tigrayans who are displaced within Tigray, the 60,000 refugees who are in Sudan right now, and there are countless testimonies and what is happening on the ground actually. And no matter what your opinion could be, at the end of the day, I think there's enough evidence on the ground, and you can research yourself to understand that there's a humanitarian crisis that I think we're not even prepared for it. And so I do, one thing is that within the Tegaru, one thing I appreciate is the fact that we're able to understand and our hearts to be in one place. I think that is why our unity makes us very resilient and to keep pushing through what we need to do.
Very good. Very good. So true. So in the Bay Area, there's obviously, you got strong community, within leadership. I'm not going to throw names. Actually, we're alive, but I've been in touch with them and I'm inspired. It used to not be like this. It used to be, as we know, they want to have their own way. They want to have their own thing. And it's just our voice meant nothing back in the days. All of a sudden, what this crisis have done actually for us, even though it's the most challenging time, is I personally feel it united us, it galvanized us, and we're actually, I didn't realize we have this many Tegaru diaspora. Are you guys surprised as I am? And I'm going to jump into Adi. What do you think about the number of Tegarus that we've seen around the globe?
So I'm amazed at how many Tegarus live anywhere. I'm specifically from Sacramento, and recently I had to call up every Tegaru in Sacramento for a vigil. And going down my list, I've lived here for more than 5 years, and there were Tegarus that lived around the corner that I did not even know. Ruth is one of them. She lives down the street, and I've never met her before this. So it's a horrible event, but it did bring us together, and it did create unity, and it created a stronger bond between Tegarus. So when Tigray prevails and when Tigray becomes its own country, like I said, we have a community of diasporas that will rebuild it, that will make it great. So yeah.
I see. Sacramento. So for those of you who are listening who may not know demographically the Bay Area, you're going to hear it from me now because I'm from Fresno. So it's a long drive, okay? It's a long drive. So the point here is that this is what gets us going. You got young people driving on I-80, right? Probably.
Yeah.
I've been out of California for 20 years now, but I still remember my ways around it. So I really appreciate that. I think, you know, I was under the impression that you were within the actual Bay Area, but Sacramento actually is more central. So it's quite ways. But what that really means is that we are united, folks. We are together in this. So Finan, so when we say the Bay, I'm gonna get you like be a little bit articulated, like Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, so that the audience knows which part of the Bay that you kind of are covering, and it shows how far we are coming together to work together as Tegaru.
Yeah, so it's actually really amazing because again, there's a huge like different communities of Tagalog's like here in the Bay Area, Sacramento included, you know, we're including them in the Bay. There's been a lot of like separate movements that have been happening, but also just the combined force that we have and the impact that we show is really amazing, you know, like it's the unity that we're showing is amazing. The strength that we have as a group is what's the most amazing thing, because the more strength that the strength that you're gonna accumulate is because you're working together and you're brainstorming together and like finding out how to move forward and what the next best step is. And the the youth group especially is from all over the Bay Area, and they've been doing really amazing. We've been doing amazing jobs communication wise, different groups like um, on Sunday, February the 7th, we're having a virtual protest as well. So we're working on different angles on how to handle the situation. Yeah, so we're gonna do a virtual protest at 5 p.m. here. It's just been really amazing how very united and very united and very straight to the point that we've been getting, because it was a challenge, like you said in the beginning. But the more we work together, the more we get connected with other communities outside of the Bay Area, outside of California, the more we start coming together, and been doing really great.
Thank you. So I don't want to keep calling you guys names. I want you guys to jump right in because there's a lot of things to discuss about. So feel free to jump in. We don't have to go in a circle or like taking turns. I appreciate for us to be patient. Culturally, we know that we're not supposed to interrupt each other, but we are respectful. We understand it. But so part of the reason I start doing this, so you guys all know, is I am like so proud, so happy that there's so many young people meaning Tigray origin, born and raised in the diaspora or outside Tigray. They can still listen to their Tigrinya music. I mean, you guys, it's just, Finan, I love what you got in the background. You got your Tigray flag, you got the Tigray culture, you got everything. You got that little basket for food and stuff. The farmers
Yeah.
use commonly. I love it. I know how proud we are. So we want to
Yes,
show
definitely.
the world, So I am so proud, seriously, of you guys. The fact that you are keeping Tigray culture, Tigray heritage alive. But most importantly, you guys might not actually realize the hard work that we all been doing together is actually paying off because the world actually now hearing us. So I want you guys jump right in, share your whatever you're doing on Twitter, whatever you're doing on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have not used it yet, but I do follow it. Anybody can jump in. Feel free.
Yeah, no, I want to emphasize like what Fernando was talking about earlier. It's been super crazy because specifically for me, I'm here in Oakland in the Bay Area, and so Sacramento has never been a place that I thought I would find my brothers and sisters, right? It's kind of far from us, for those of you who don't know. And when I found people like Ruth and Tegaru, like Adi and Liu, it kind of opens your eyes a little bit. One, to how like secluded you become of yourself, how you kind of don't really look outside of your little bubble, but also how important and how powerful we are together. Specifically in the Bay Area, because we are like multiple cities. For a really long time, every city was kind of doing their own thing, and didn't really get to interact with everyone else. And so it's just been really amazing to see that, I have sisters in Sacramento, I have sisters in San Francisco and in San Jose, and have brothers there as well. And as for the youth, when it comes to the youth, I think I speak for a lot of us when I say that this time has been super hard for us, regarding like identity wise. For a really long time, we've just been considering ourselves Ethiopian, right? Our parents, of course, they grew up in Adi, they experienced what they experienced, so in their hearts, they've always been Tegaru. But for us in the diaspora, it's always been, specifically for me, it's always been Ethiopia. And so as you learn and as you grow and as you understand, the history of your people, the history of Tigray, the fight that Tigray has, it just opens your mind up to so much more. And yeah, it's been a really amazing experience, but it's also been a very difficult experience that we've all had to go through together, which has brought us closer, almost as if we're family now. We can call each other and say hi and call each other and see how everything's going, just as if we knew each other this whole time. So it's been really amazing.
I agree. You guys, again, feel free to jump right in, but I can text, call any of you guys. I'm in a meeting and I'll call you back in 20, 30 minutes or 5 minutes. And it's like, we don't even care about soliciting calls anymore. We're just like, we're going to pick it up. And if it's something related to Tigray, we don't even say, who are you? How do I know you? How do you get my number? Nope. We get right. So somebody talk about that. Seriously. Like, I mean, I think I called you like last night, I think, when Ruth had texted me a couple days ago, and I totally got sidetracked, and I was supposed to like schedule everything. And I was just like, so I called you, you picked it up. I'm like, hey, it's Mike here. Like, I got to get you guys rolling. And then you guys were in a meeting, but let me jump on it. And then all of a sudden you were just like out there working and then yet communicating. So for the people who are like listening to this, seriously, it's not like that simple. Just because we call, text each other, we can put it like, I mean, Adi was like getting ready to get to the show because she was busy doing some other stuff with the community. And then she had to like put, her heart rate was probably like 150, 200, so I want really to hear from you guys. Jump in, like, I'm going to just zip it. Go ahead.
I like, not to sidetrack, but what Samha said, my bad, girl. What Samha said about like identity, like that's something I think like we need, like even like for the youth to talk about, like especially for me specifically. I was born in Addis. I grew up in Addis most of my life. And then I came to America, but like the identity between like, being Ethiopian and like being a Tegaru was kind of lost to people who grew up in Addis. We were very much so like taught to be like Ethiopian in the sense of like, I guess Amarism being like more of an Amara than it is a Tegaru, because we spoke Amarinya, we conversed with Amaras, we were friends with Amaras. Like that was something that was, like taught to us, and being Tegaru was kind of lost. And now like with this whole war, and when you get to like learn, it's kind of like taking a really cold shower and being like, oh my God, like this is actually like part of me, and like part of me is dying, part of me is starving. And as for my heart rate, it's still 150, so don't worry.
I wasn't trying to embarrass you, but go ahead.
No, I think I'm done.
No, I was gonna say, I think a lot of our hearts are racing a little fast right now.
In a good way, though.
Yeah, in a good way.
Definitely.
It's
I feel like it's
Go
a
ahead.
good example. I was gonna say, like, it's a good example for you, Mike. Yesterday, I didn't have your number saved, so when you called me, and as soon as I read Tigray, or as soon as I read like Tegaru, or as soon as I read your name, and I was like, oh, is he a Tigray? He's calling me, and I was, and it kind of shows you just no matter where you are, no matter where you live, what you believe in, at the end of the day, Tegaru are Tegaru. They're our brothers and sisters. We see this specifically with social media, with Instagram, with Snapchat. There's a newer app called Clubhouse. It's so crazy how just being Tigray, being a Tigrawati can bond you so genuinely and so deeply with somebody. If you find someone that's like from Sa'andarta and you're from Sa'andarta, you're like, oh my gosh, we're probably cousins or something. Or if you
Sure.
or if you find people from like your hometown and you're just like, oh my God, do you know this guy, and do you know her, and do you know this store? It's been really amazing. And even with our Bay Area group, the amount of time it took for us to get close it didn't take us that long. So it was just like it was like that. So it's been amazing is all I can say, to be honest.
I agree. It's I think you hit like so many good points. One of the things like that really that I know now, I can be anywhere in the world. I can find my fellow Tegaru, and I know that if I fall down hard, they'll be the first one to come pick me up and take care of me. Mm-hmm. For me, like, and for all of us actually, like, I just say we're so blessed. Our blood is from Tigray. As simple as that.
Going off of what Adi said, I also grew up in Addis. I was born and raised there, came here like after I graduated from high school. And, I grew up with the same sentiments, right? Like, we are Ethiopian. Yes, we are from like Tigray, but at the same time, like, we are under the umbrella of Ethiopia, right? So that's what we used to believe, and like, that's what I grew up believing. And I had so many friends from so many different places in Ethiopia. And after the war broke out, there was silence from a lot of those people. Like, no, how are you doing? What's going on? Do you have family there? None of that. And it was really amazing to me because I grew up with these people, right? But I might have lost like 5-10 of my friends, but at the same time, ever since this happened, I know it might be wrong to say, but like, it might have been like, in a way, like a blessing in disguise. Not like that what's happening is a blessing, but the community has come together so much that whoever I lost, it has been replaced by 100, 500 of like the Tegaru community from all over the world. Like somehow said, Clubhouse, I've been on it regularly now. It's become like a therapy session for me, honestly speaking, because the amount of Tegaru community that we have in it, like the little movements that we've been having in that app, and just like socializing and brainstorming ideas of how to rebuild Tigray, and what do we do to make this organization listen to us, just the unity and the connectedness. We've become a family, like somehow said, like it's a family for sure. I have never been so proud to be proud, I have never been so proud. That's all I have to say.
I agree. Ruth, anybody jump right in, but I think you said it. Like, I've been telling people, actually, we are brothers and sisters, and we have one mother, and that's Tigray. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, right. Definitely. I mean, like Samhal, Fanan, and Adi said it. Definitely, I think it's just like, I didn't know, like, to begin with, I didn't know we had a Tegaru community, even like, where I was. And even like, just after this, it's just like they said, I think it has led all of us to really like kind of question our identity in a sense where we have to really understand, because it's also, we can't ignore the part that like the pushback, the counter protest, and just the counter attacks that are happening, and from our fellow Ethiopian brothers and sisters that I called, and so I think for us, it's just kind of like, yeah, we were going through a very heartbreaking time, just seeing that people couldn't understand what was happening and kind of being blinded by hatred, and to the point that they can't see the suffering of innocent lives. So I think like all of us, we resonated in that much. We were hurting in a sense, but then coming together and just meeting like my sisters, like, oh, like, where were you all this time? And I'm just like, I missed out so much, and it's just, this has brought us in a way, it had its blessings, and I see such a future for us as well, because just like, I don't know, like, I think it's just, I'm beginning to understand the identity of being a Tigrawiti, and it's just like how we can mobilize. Like sometimes I can't I'm amazed at myself, like how we're able to mobilize at things in terms of, since our hearts are in one place and we want to do the right thing. And so it's just kind of like, it amazes me, and it really reflects on the identity of our history of in Tigray, the Tigray history in many years in the past, And so it just kind of shows us like, it's just like, yeah, what it means to be Tegaru. And it's a quite fascinating. We didn't think about it that way, but we're actually like, diving into understanding it while we're out here, organizing and spreading. How can we spread awareness, and how can we, support and fundraise to help, like, those are in need, especially right now in like Sudan, and right now, like, even to Tigray, there's the Abiy Ahmed is and his administration is blocking humanitarian really access and really restricting it. So it's kind of for us hard to watch, because we still today, it's 92 days, and we don't know actually many of our families if they're alive or dead. So it's just living with that. I think it helps us, all of us, to cope together. So I think it's quite amazing, and it's a blessing. And I sometimes like pull myself back to understand. I was like, I am so blessed, like, to have a family, no matter where I am in the world. Like, I know you guys, the Tagarus got my back, and they're like my brothers and sister, my family, so I just can't put words to it.
I completely agree. No, I think we are blessed. We are so fortunate to have this many Tagaru around the globe. And, I was going to mention that there's a quite number of people commenting, and I'm just like sharing what they're saying so far. I think about almost like 98 to 99% of the people who are commenting, you guys, you don't understand how much they're showing you love. Seriously. They are like appreciating you. The negativity has gone down. And some of these people actually that are posting here, they're all over the country, and some even from Australia. And I've got to know them because of what's happening right now. So these are people regularly, I would communicate with them. We'll call each other on Messenger, various like platforms. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love you, Tagaru, seriously. Like, I love the way we are galvanized around the globe. So earlier today, I've got this screen. So our brother Angusam was so kind enough to stream it live. So I'm just going to kind of click a little bit here and there and just show our audience who might have missed it earlier today on the screen. This is from the Bay Area earlier while you guys were out there. This was very interesting. I mean, I saw this in Australia. This is the kind of work that you guys put together to show the world. Although this is like, dummies, we got real people like, going through this. What message are we sending to the communities that we are voicing our concerns and trying to educate people? What's happening in Tigray is a very serious and dire situation. Anybody can jump in.
I mean, what I can say is it's quite hard, like, because we're still living through it. But to understand that innocent lives are being massacred every single day. I mean, the reports that comes out, and the fact is that there's no like actual like independent source that's even been allowed to go into Tigray to really look at this, because due to Abiy Ahmed in his administration restricting it. So it's just quite the numbers, the testimony that comes out, especially from the refugees. Sometimes I had to kind of like sit back and kind of deal with some of like their stories and what's happening down there. So I cannot like I can't begin to imagine what's actually down there and what we don't know. But yet what I understand is that every single day, innocent children, women, and elders are being massacred and killed, and not only just by bullets. It's actually by also like starvation, like it's being weaponized. Starvation being weaponized against the people, because many of the involvement of Eritrea is also something that's happening in Tigray, and how they're looting, and then they're also burning crops, and they're killing off any livestock, and so that actually is leading for nothing for the people actually to eat, or to actually just like go day by. So like it's just kind of like it's just very hard, like in a sense that like one is you have a war and being bombed and being killed by bullets, and yet you have here as well as you're being starved to death. And this is at the end of it, it comes to where it's ethnic cleansing and it's trying to exterminate a whole ethnic group. And as Tigrayans, all of us are being affected by this. And we need the world to understand that we don't want this to be, we came late, we're sorry, this happened in Rwanda. So this is Rwanda 2.0 that's happening. So everybody needs to understand and educate themselves in what's happening. And so everybody to be accountable and ask yourselves, like, what can I do to help? What can I do, to at least save one life, of at least to bring peace to those innocent people who are being heavily impacted. And at the end of the day, innocent lives pay the most in anything in this kind of conflict. So that's I want to really highlight the fact that it's a very sensitive time, and everybody should get onto it and like reach out. And usually we have, if anybody wants information in regards of what's going on in Tigray, there's Amana Tigray website, and also I Stand with Tigray, where there's a lot of resources that are packed in there in terms of what's happening, and articles that are from independent sources from the Washington Post, New York, The Guardian, and they have massive CNN reports that have been coming out since like 3 months. So I want people to really educate themselves, because this is our family, and we're hurting, and we want to help them. And if we need to do that, is we really need to push for the international community to take action, and they have that power and leverage to help our people. So I want to relay this message on to anybody who's watching this.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we were discussing right before the show briefly, next week, let's see, somehow any of you guys jump in, like, what are we doing in New York like next week, and what day? You guys know? I can help on the date, but what's going on in New York City?
So I know it's on the 11th in New York City in front of UN.
They're having a protest, I believe, right?
That's right. That's right. So we are headed to New York. So what I want to emphasize is everyone across the US and Canada on February 11th, that is actually 100 days of the war that's been going on Tigray. The war was waged, obviously, on November 4th, 2020. So February 11th is going to be exactly 100 days. So it is 100 days of genocide, 100 days of massacre. The United Nations has miserably failed to Tigray, to the Tegaru people, to stand up and say, we cannot allow this on the genocide on our watch. Just like what you say, this is Rwanda 2.0, but I worry it's actually worse, because it's pretty serious. So our goal is to get as many people as possible from Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Arizona. I mean, come on, we got communities everywhere. Las Vegas, Nevada, Denver, Colorado. I know there's like a handful of people from Denver I've talked to today in the last couple of days. They are going. We got a few from Seattle, from Oregon. I personally, I'm going. I've got a few other people that told me that they will be going. So California, we're counting on you guys as well. I know one of you for sure, or one of you are going maybe, and the other one is thinking about it. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow in our meeting. So hopefully, one of the things I'm proud of also is a lot of Tegaru are now coming out and saying, okay, you know what? If we have our community members that can go speak on our behalf and protest and participate, but financially they may not be able to afford it. Either they're young in school, they might have lost jobs, or they may not have enough income. Guess what? The community is stepping up to help. So, which is part of the discussion that I'm going to host tomorrow night. That is a private meeting for our community, obviously. Of course, all of you guys are invited. But to the listeners, Tegaru are doing amazing job, even behind closed doors, taking care of one another. So for those who may not be able to go because of money, we are here to help to take care of our brothers and sisters. So we are our brothers. We are our brothers and sisters keepers, I think is what they call it. So somehow I think you wanted to say something, and I saw you nodding for a little bit, so I'm gonna let you jump right in.
Yeah, no, I just want to talk about like really quickly about like the unity within different communities as well. Especially in our protests, I know that in a lot of cities and and I believe in New York as well. There's going to be, it's not just only Tegaru. In our protests today, in the morning and in the afternoon, it was so amazing, the amount of flags that we had, the amount of flags representing so many different communities. For us, we had the Somalian community with us, we had the Oromo community with us, we had the Eritrean community, a couple of our San Francisco representatives came out and spoke to us. It just shows that no matter where you are, no matter where you're from, this is a humanitarian crisis, right? This is something that hits for anyone. This is something that should hit for everyone. Regarding this genocide, I think something that we have to do as Tegaru and what we have been doing is, trying to convince other people of how serious this matter is. A lot of times people completely disregard your comments and people completely misguide your conversation, and Tegaru have been put through so much already, and to be back, to have that pushback, to have that backlash is, it's crazy. It just shows how strong we are. And connecting it back to the protest in New York, I believe it's at the United Nations headquarters.
Right.
And, just from the people that I know that are going, I can already tell how great it's going to be. I can already tell how unifying and how strong, how important and relevant it's going to be. I can already tell, what a difference we're going to make. It's just another thing for us to be proud of as Tegaru. And like the late Mele Zenawi said, "Nkwa hawahum tawalidna," right? Like, "Nkwa Tegaru khonna." Like, I'm so proud to be Tegaraway tea. It's just one thing that bonds us all. I think I've said that multiple times today, but that's how great it is.
I agree. So as you guys, as an activist now, I'm going to give you a title. You are an activist. You are officially an activist because you're rising up, and I appreciate the respectful approach. Obviously, the various communities who are joining us, we do respect that. We do appreciate that. I'm curious though, what goes through the young minds of some of you, like Fanon earlier say that she grew up mostly in Addis Ababa. And I know that many of us, including myself, that actually never grew up in Addis, but about 20 years ago, my first visit to Ethiopia, I didn't speak any Amharic. So when they start talking to me in Amharic, I have no idea what they're saying. So I'm like, I don't speak Amharic, but I can speak to you guys in Tigrinya or English. So they're like, then they start joking, like saying like, in Amharic, like, Joran Lukrate, it's like, it means like, just, it's a joke. And I was like, I don't know what they're saying. So I felt like so like outside. And all of a sudden I start buying CDs and music and whatnot anyway, so Amharic, and start listening. And now I can fully understand Amharic. I can speak to an extent. And Adi said it earlier. I think, we've been so focused on the Amharic language to please them, those who spoke Amharic. And I think language obviously is a beautiful thing, but at the same time, when we work so hard to make Ethiopia peaceful, we meaning the Tegaru, who fought and brought the freedom and democracy, and then, they turn around and bring multiple nations and drones from other country, which has been the worst enemy for Tigray, is United Arab Emirates drones. How do we, process this action and really accept, the genocide in Tigray when this whole thing is over, and really embrace people who has been acting like evil at home and abroad? I mean, I saw a clip yesterday, people sending me stuff regularly, and I saw clip Eritreans dancing on the death of Tigray people. I mean, literally dancing. And I'm just wondering, as Tegaru, I know we're strong, but at some point the strength could also break. So my question is, for you guys as young Tegaru, being an activist, how do we balance life with our family, but also have grace to accept those who actually not only just terrorize us, but kill our people, rape young girls and women that are as old as our grandparents? These people have no mercy. I'm throwing out at anybody, so anybody's welcome to jump in, and then somebody can follow right through it. It's not a specific question for anybody.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I think it's just connecting right back to the whole idea of genocide. This genocide is not only through the death of people. The genocide is through the death of culture. It's through the death of language. It's through the act to generalize one culture onto a group of people with their own. For years, Tegaru have been stopped from speaking their language. For years, Tegaru have been stopped from practicing their culture. For years, we have sat and watched as the Amara culture has taken over and become the culture of Ethiopia as a whole. We've watched as the Tigray culture, the original culture of Ethiopia, the origin of Ethiopia, we've watched as it has been washed away and, ignored completely. And, it just comes back to the idea that right now our people are dying, but they're dying, and they're dying by the thousands. They're being massacred. But for a long time, deep down inside, our people have been dying as well. Their hearts have been dying. Their culture has been dying. Specifically, people who didn't grow up in Tigray. They've been so Amaranized, as we call it here. Amaranized to the point where Amara has become their identity. Amaranized to the point where there's nothing other than Amara. It's the correlation between Amara and Ethiopia is almost identical. And so it shows you now why so many ethnic groups and so many communities are fighting back, because their history is being erased. Their movements, their languages, their cultures are being erased. And you see it now. You see it when you hear of Ethiopia, what do you think of? You think of the Amara culture. So it saddens me, but it also shows me that we can't wait any longer. Tigray cannot wait. Tigray doesn't have time to wait. This is something as serious as Tigray becoming her own country, which she will be, but it's also as serious as preserving our culture, preserving our language to a point where our children and future generations will be able to know their culture and their religion. So, our fight is not only for now, it's also for the future as well.
I agree, and I appreciate some of the comments. And so we have a brother here that, you know, I don't know if you guys can see, I just put on the screen, but I think it's true. From one of you guys mentioned it from a humanitarian perspective, and Adi or Fernand, I'll let you jump in just so you guys have an opportunity to join us in this discussion. But you know, over roughly about 100,000 Eritreans were protected and taken care of in Tigray at a refugee camp alone, and many of them now have been either forcefully returned to Eritrea, and some of them have been killed. So the suffering actually isn't just impacting Tigray. I mean, it's devastating in Tigray. I don't want to, you know, minimize that, but Eritreans also have suffered 30 years of civil war, 30 years of dictatorship, 60 years. That is, like, for most people, like their entire lifetime. You know, the cycle of viciousness throughout Africa has been, like, you know, sadly, in the short end, you know, those who receive the short end of the stick are civilians. So knowing this vicious cycle, what could we as Tegaru do? And I think somehow kind of mentioned it, like having Tigray been, you know, the nation that will no longer put up with people who comes in and tries to destroy it. But overall, you know, what are the generations that, you know, like, you know, like what's our generation task with to get out of this vicious cycle, and so that we no longer have to go this path in the future?
You know, I feel like it's really hard to go back to how we used to live. This kind of war is, it's not the first time that it's happened, you know, it's not the second time even. It's been like 3, 4 times, you know. It's been going on for a long time, you know. Every 30 to 40 years, it happens again. And I grew up in Addis, right? And I grew up with the sentiment that like Ethiopia is one country. Like, despite the different ethnic groups and despite the different languages, at the end of the day, we are all Ethiopian. We are all like the same kind of people. But if you're constantly just hurting your own people and waging war on them, for the last war that happened went on for like 17, 20 years, right? And the only reason this is not gonna last as long is because we live in the 21st century. The fact that it has even been it has been kept in the dark for this long is mind blowing to me. We live in the 21st century with all this technology, all this internet, this easy access, you know, that's what it's all supposed to be about, easy access to information and what's like connections to the world. But it's almost been 100 days and very few people are even aware of it. But little by little, there have been more and more people that have become aware of it. I personally got phone calls from my foreign friends that like recently that are saying like, oh, I'm seeing information about what's been going on in Ethiopia, and like, are you from that region? Is your family there? Da da da. But going off of what I was saying, continuing on with that kind of history, especially after living in peace with these people, with like the everybody in, like Ethiopia, right? Living in peace for as long as we have, like, I can't imagine going back to how it used to be. And the fact that we have a diaspora community right now is gonna help rebuild the country and protect, like rebuild Tigray as a country. I feel like that is one of the only ways we can go, but the people of Tigray are the only ones that can decide on this, the ones that are actually physically suffering from this situation. And but if we do decide to separate, we can rebuild, we can support it, like each other, we can have a unified country and a prosperous one. And what's going on with the Eritrean refugees is very sad. I used to be on social media like Twitter, and I'd see people commenting like, oh, it was only like this many it was like this many refugees that were taken away, they're going back to their country, so it doesn't even matter. I mean, why were they refugees in the first place? Like forcibly taking people back to where they didn't want to be in, and making them suffer throughout all that. And I've heard like there have been a lot of people that have been missing. There is no information on like how about 20,000. I might have the numbers wrong, so don't quote me on that one. But nobody knows where all those people are, and some of them are displaced, some of them are like killed. It's very sad. I don't know how you can continue in a unifying with these people. Yeah.
To add on to what Fanan said, to me it comes down like, because you asked earlier, like what does it go through like a youth's mind when they're trying to like, analyze what's going on in Tigray. Like for me, like growing up in Addis, and growing up in America and being, surrounded and being friends and growing up with people from Ethiopia but other ethnicities, I saw them as my brother's sisters. But my mother always had this type of like, I guess, saying where she used to like put my siblings, and she would say like, you guys are like my fingers, and if one of you, like I cut one of you off, like I would be hurt. And that's the way I see all of Ethiopia, right? Or that's the way I used to see all of Ethiopia, was that if one of us was bleeding, all of us were bleeding. And it just, that statement is no longer true. Seeing all the counter protests and people that say, it's not going on when it is. So honestly, I have no idea how the future is going to go. I do believe that is, as Fanan said, it is up to the people that live in Tigray, that are residing in Tigray, to say which direction they want their country to go to, which is also my country. But and if they choose to separate, I believe in our youth. I believe in our unity, that we will rebuild it. There's no problems there. We will, we'll make it the #1 country in Africa. That is a promise to the people of Tigray if we are going to go through this. But also, as you said earlier about the analyzing, I want to stress to our youth, or actually anyone, even elders that are watching this, there's a lot of lies on the media. There's a lot of propaganda out there that will break your mind. Not too long ago they put pictures of like our dead heroes out, and it really, like, for me especially, broke me, because how could you just dismantle a human being like that? There are several, like the rape news you hear, it's really like, it's heartbreaking to a point where it's inhumane. You can't even, you can't analyze it. And I want to stress to everybody, like, take care of your mental health. If we can't be healthy and strong and make it through it, we can't use our voices for the people of Tigray. We can't help when we are sick. So I want everybody at home, wherever you are, take care of your mental health. Take care of yourself so you can speak up for Tigray.
Amen. Amen. So I think I agree that the decision is going to be up to our people in Tigray. Tegaru will determine the destiny of Tigray tomorrow. But I'm also old enough to remember what happened during the Mengistu Haile Mariam era, what happened to our Tegaru, which is what's happening again today. So I think it's very hard, after so many sacrifices our brothers and sisters, our parents made, those who fought and died and those who survived and migrated abroad. And then to go through this viciousness of war, bringing multiple countries and regions within the country, to treat like a Tigray as a region, part of Ethiopia, in this manner, I think I would say a peaceful divorce had been warranted to do so. So I think for me, I don't speak on behalf of the Tigray people, but I speak for myself, and I speak with my Tegaru brothers and sisters around the globe, including at home. When I advocate for Tegaru, I have to be realistic and honest. It is vital for us to, you acknowledge it is up to the Tigray people to determine. But at the same time, I say, but at the same time, they're listening to us. They're watching us. Even the ones that don't have access right now deep inside Tigray, they will, these stories, how we've been fighting for them, they will see it one day when Tigray prevails. They will see it. They will know these stories that we're telling. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, it's a story that's permanent. That's going to be there for generations to come. They're going to remember what we've been saying for our people and what they did to our people before and what we put up with. And then again, what's happening right now in Tigray. I can take a deep breath, obviously, but it's beyond that. So I want to show you guys something. It's a long video, but this is what happened during the Mengistu era. And our brothers and sisters, again, who did not make it, they gave Ethiopia every opportunity that Ethiopia needed. Every opportunity. And instead of taking advantage of the opportunity and uplifting Ethiopia, they destroyed Ethiopia and they are killing our people. So for me, I don't think you guys can hear the audio on this one. I'm having a little bit. Okay, I see what's going on, but that would look loud. Sorry about that.
خبرنا سلمات عاتب عرستم يدك يسقيني بحيل برد تعفيني كبر عسري تفلي ملكا زلوا سدد يوتنا المدحام بدليك مسنون خنك الوحاد نسكرنا سكما أغلى خبرنا زلمات عاتب عرستم يدك يسقيني بحيل برد تعفيني كبر عسري تفلي مالكم زلوا سدد يوتنا المدحام بدليك مسمول خنك الوحاد نسكرنا سكمات سرناكن قبلنا تعدنا بمكينة وحدنا لو حوتا تعذرنا خاب سمع عدنا رحمنا فنفرط برخا حرر تدابرنا لكم بحصر حمام الدنيا تون باسه هيوتنا وتسر خسر التوتا درات حلوتنا اندفاتتو زملابو نركبو بغتكات وعينا بحرارت سفر دربي وخنيت سولو شاتنا سلمات أخاسينا معنوت نهلكات سرز بيزبينك عبسك كل تعتم مسك عششتي جنان عربي مدري سلمتني مسيالة تاني قولي عما خلقزة أخي باسم عفو بصبر كرتو فلت مجتزة بالسرعة قبل أزمنا هيوتكم مدحون بادنا سنت زلك سنت عاس زيب الكابوت ببنا قصي بركينو كله تزارب وتقبيله ورسو جباركم صدان السدراي تقعد التمساي سنت حكمنا بوني اغل خبرت آخر لبي عدير خبو بودنا بوليس بريد بتقلبي العكس كل بعد مسكين وعاد بوليس بريد بتقلبي العكس كل بعد مسكين وعاد سنوات زمن أغلى خبرنا سلمان عاتب عرستم يدك يسقيني بحيل برد تعفيني كبر عسري تفلي هلكك زلوا سدد هيوتنا المدحام بدليك مسنون خنك الوحاد سكرنا سلامات ከምዚ ዝገበረት ውነብይ ሕይወተይ ሒና ፍገን እግሪ ክተክል መሊሳ ዓደይ ክቕኒ ደኾን ይኸውን ብርሃን ናይ መጻኢ ኽርኢ እንሰት ዓይኒ ዓራት ናይ ትግራይ ዕምበባ ናይ ሓድሽ ዘርኢ በርዩ ርአየኒ ኣሎ ሃፀት ብቐልጢፈ ክሪኦ ነፃ ሓድሽ ዓለም ውፅኢት ብረንም ንዝሓልፈት ሞተይ ኣየሪአኒ ገጸላተይ ዓሰርተ ግዜ ይኽባኢንር ምስሉ ክብሪ ክሞት ወይ ክጠወር ዋይስ ብንገዝ ብተቐልቲ ናብስኩለታት ተመስክር ወሓት ሰብዋት ዘንዱ ፖሊስ ብንገዝ ብተቐልቲ ናብስኩለታት ተመስክር ወሓት ሰብዋት ዘንዱ ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ህወሓት ዘለዋ ትኸፍል ህወሓት ዘለዋ ትኸፍል ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ህወሓት ዘለዋ ትኸፍል ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ህወሓት ዘለዋ ትኸፍል ህወሓት ዘለዋ ትኸፍል ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ ፋሽስቲ ጨካኒ ዓረቢ
So obviously, it's a long clip. I appreciate, you know, how diplomatic you guys were sharing, but this is a reminder. You know, this was in 1984. They used a tactic to starve and kill our people. Through the war and starvation, famine, and everything else that have took place, an estimated 1.5 million Tegaru have died then. Today, we don't know what's happening. We don't know how many have died so far and how many are dying each day. We do know that it's hard, but I think what we've been doing for our community, I want us to have a balance of like not focusing on just like the sorrow and the sadness and the emotions. So I want to make sure that we do also take care of ourselves. And I think it was very key for somehow to, you know, talk about, you know, our well-being. If we beat ourselves down, we can't be there for ourselves, and we can't be there for our people back home who are really dependent on us, not just today, tomorrow, but for years to come. To rebuild Tigray, we must stay strong. We must stay united. We must continue the fight through social media, through protests, and through whatever means to bring this crisis to an end. I really appreciate it. You guys had a long day protesting, so I don't want to just keep lingering this, but I would love for you guys to basically share your thoughts, whatever you want to, you know, let the audience know. I would appreciate it. So then we will kind of wrap it down, and I'll have you guys hopefully back again together. The goal is to bring our young Tegarus like united. So my goal would be eventually to have you guys pair up with other West Coast and even throughout the country, younger generation leaders like you guys who are amazing to do what you did. I mean, you've been up like all day long, and it's like, you know, it's 10:40. I mean, literally, you know, it's like, I know you guys been on your, you know, up and running for over 14, 15 hours today. And so I appreciate you, what you guys do. Tigray appreciates you. Every Tegaru appreciates you. I'm going to let you go somehow, and then we'll just go that around. And then we'll do a closing statement in the end. So you have a chance to come back and, you know, do a closing statement.
Yeah, no, I was actually, me and Fran were talking about this earlier, how a lot of us haven't had like a good night's sleep or, you know, rest in a very long time. And specifically when it comes to this, you know, I like how you mentioned about, you know, not making everything about sorrow and sadness. You know, it's really interesting to me because our families, specifically, I feel like my parents, our older generation, is seeing this happen to their families again, and it's kind of, you know, messing with their mental. You know, it's a really traumatic experience, not knowing where your family is, not understanding what situation your family could be in. And so for them to be able to come out of that, to come out of that sadness, and for them to be able to come and protest with us, for them to be able to march with us and yell with us, that's amazing. But it also shows you how the fight continues, right? Whether it's day, whether it's night, whether you have a good night's sleep or not, the fight continues either way. Whether you know whether you're tired or whether you're hungry or whether you know it goes on. Our people are going through worse, and I keep that in my mind all the time. Whenever I feel tired or whenever I'm, you know, on the verge of just, you know, giving up or of kind of taking a break, I'm just like, but you know, people are dying. People are starving. People are, you know, have nowhere to go, have no shelter, no food to eat. They can't raise their children, you know, in a respective manner. You know, it's just. I think everything just comes back to the resilience that Tegaru have as a community, but also as individuals. You see that in the communities now, no matter the disagreements you had in the past, no matter the, you know, previous arguments you've had in the past, everyone comes together. Everyone understands how important it is. Specifically with our Tegaru youth group, you know, half of us didn't know each other at all. So I just want to say that Adona Jahum, we're all working. We're all working towards the same thing. As Ruth said, you know, our hearts are in the same place. Our goal is the same. What we're striving for is the same. And it's just, you know, we're going to keep working until Tigray is, you know, until justice is served, until Tigray is free, and until our family members can live and have the humanitarian rights and the human rights that they deserve.
Yeah. You know, what really keeps me up at night is just imagining. It's like, yes, I have family there, right? But at the same time, it's everybody else it's every single person that is being displaced or raped multiple times and killed and massacred for no reason at all, honestly. And that really keeps me up at night because I'm thinking about the entire population going through all of this. And you know, some of us might have like survival skills kind of thing going on, but you know, again, with the mental health, I think you should join whatever community you have around you. There has been a lot of community-based therapy sessions, like therapy, either you could do like morning stretch exercises or like actual therapy sessions. They have like, we have some in like Clubhouse too. You know, just community-based unifying events that happen to protect our well-being, because a lot of us have been suffering through a depressive state, I should say, a very depressive state that we've been going through. But at the same time, we are pushing forward. We are speaking for our people. We are doing whatever we can. And every time we hear positive news from back home, we're always pushing harder. We're always trying to do more. And like, I think that's really important. Anyone who isn't a part of any community organization, please join. I'm gonna, especially the youth, I'm gonna ask everybody to join their community, their Tegaru community committees, and do whatever you can to help. You know, even just like being a part of the meetings and throwing around ideas could be very impactful. And I think it's very important to stay community based. You know, we have each other. We will always protect each other. And I think whatever our mental state is, we have like a safe space with one another. We understand what the other is going through, even though we might not have the same stories. And I think that's really important, that we join our community-based organizations.
Thank you, Fanan and Samal. Literally, as they were speaking, literally, that's the same exactly life where I'm also like, living through, and I'm trying to remember the last time I had a good night's sleep. And, for these past 92 days, I think such a new experience for us, especially who usually like, grew up here as well. And, going through a secondhand like trauma and being terrorized as well. Just every Tegaru that are in the diaspora, because of just like the unknown of like not even being able to say hello to your family or say, hey, like, where are you? Like, we don't even know. I think that's quite ridiculous for me that like you don't even know the whereabout of your family, and we live in the 21st century. And so like for me, it's just kind of it's hard. Like, it's not easy. And yet, like, what I try to do is usually do not micro break it down. Just try to think like, what is the priority right now, and that's to voice for the people of Tigray who are suffering right now. And then you ask yourself, what can I do? What skills do I have? Or what can I get involved in? To help push through, to advocate and to spread awareness, as well as how can I really help in the grounds. Like, where are the needs? Like in Sudan, is it through like money or fundraising, or like flying there, or volunteering? And within our Tagalog community, it's quite amazing and incredible within this couple of months how we mobilized and we're able to establish these nonprofits organizations, and just even within communities, small committees, and as well as like emotional support groups. And I think that's incredible for our community, especially as for the youth, especially now. We try to see the needs of like the community and like what we need. And I think like Vanan said as well, like, anybody who is not involved with their community, please get involved with your community and let them know. Like, sometimes you never know, like it could be an idea that we haven't thought of, and you throw it out, and that can actually help and reach out to other people who actually really need it. So I do encourage people that really to reach out, because our mental health is super important. Because if we really wear out and burn out, then we can't be effective. We can't have that strength really to voice for our brothers and sisters in Tigray. So I really want to emphasize on mental health. And if not, if you don't have anybody in your community, reach out to Bay Area Tegaru community, and we have Instagram as well. Reach out to us. We'll involve you with ours, and to be part of our community as well, no matter what where you are around the world. So and I want to say Ajona, like خبيد أسوشت إلى لنا كان عاوت إذن أيال لنا تإيال الله. And I just really want to say, like, same thing. I wanted, this is Sasa Wayano wave, and Ajohon, like, this is nothing really will push through, and that resilience is unmatched. And so I want to say, like, just sending out a lot of love and hugs to everybody around the world right now, from our on behalf of our Cyber Power Tigray team here. And so that's what I want to say.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna let you jump right in, Adi.
Yeah. So I think they've said everything. I'm sorry for my voice. I was yelling all day, so it's kind of like
you were chanting. You weren't yelling. You were chanting for peace and justice.
I was chanting.
We got you.
But my sisters have said literally everything I could think of. But I also want to add and stress mental health. Like, you guys, we have to stay strong. There are so many things that will break us, or that will make you think that will break you, but you have to push through, and you have to be a wayane, and you gotta buckle up, and you gotta say, I got this, and you gotta go through the day. And as Ruth said, reach out to us or anyone around you if you need to talk, or anything you need. Sometimes it could just be a good talk that can get you through the day. And also, like, there's a lot going on, guys, and we understand the overwhelming of emotions that people feel, because people are starving, people are dying, and make sure you think of something to do. And like as Ruth said, join a community and try to come up with ideas. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do to help, is come up with ideas to fundraise, or to do events, or just donate to different, like, to the Sudanese refugees that we have. But get involved. And there is power in numbers. Like, the more we are, the more we show them, like, hey, we're all here and we're all here together, the more our voices are amplified, and more attention we get, and the more we can educate others on the issues that we are facing.
So true. So, oh, there we go. We had you. We can. Okay, so you didn't. I think you heard, but you went first, so we had a little glitch there, but you didn't miss anything. I am going to give you guys a minute or two to think for your final statement or feedback support to Tagarus all over the world, but in particular those back home. I know the mental health, everything we talked about here, but before we do that, I want to show you guys something that is very heartwarming. It's this beautiful young girl talking in Tigrinya and her wishes, who she wants to talk to, who she wants to meet. So if you guys saw it already, it's a repeat. I've already saw it. I've shared it in this show before, but I can't not let you guys go without sharing this. It's cute. It's amazing. That's actually why we keep saying we're so proud to be Tegaru. So I'm going to turn the volume up. Hopefully you guys can hear the audio. If you don't hear it, let me know.
شاب أكاديمي كندي كفلي أخي قدامي كفلي كندي وجهي
You guys can hear it?
قدامي كفلي قدام أخي جوزي أخي مالتي صبق ميتا تمرتخي مسودة أخي أنت هيك تقولي أخي تدري
كم دكتور دورتون
كم دكتور دبرتين نمنتاي
جاكنا سلازخوانا
ميتا مو ميتاي هذا بعل عصرت حدا لكاتيتيو أو وش تعدن أملا علم كوينو يمزكتات الوزلو ذا بروجرام نمن انقع أبصحكم كتب لتدلي
نبابا نماما نهزب تكرا ندكتور دورتون
دكتور دبرتين ون هزب تقرأين كلهم انقع أبصح الكلنا حلفنا الكلنا
ندكتور دورتون أكانين ون تعمل ليون
كترخوي دلي أخي نمنتاي
أيو خانينا خلا
أيوة خلينا أخذوا اليوم بتاع صبغ ميتاي رخيب كيف فلت عندها
هذا معكتي بابا كراخو دالي بابا سيدنس سابزيخس كاو سلام جبل كوا
دك أم بأرميت إيه سخت مرتخن فعته خني دكتور دبرتين وتمرتخم أتنع نفعات كوني إزبل قدام أي وصي دكتور دبرتين وسيدنا كنا رخبك كلاشي نكو عبس حكي ميتاي
That's a beautiful
So,
video.
what do you guys think?
Beautiful.
It was really cute.
I loved it. I mean, it's just she's so cute. She's so honest and innocent. So, well, I once again I will do my closing statement after you guys. But I really appreciate you guys for everything that you do, for the effort to, make the successful protest that you guys held today in San Francisco Bay Area. I think I've said it, but I'm going to say it again. I think Tagarus around the world, they're amazing. They're survivors. They know how to peacefully demonstrate, peacefully fight for justice, and at the same time find a balance to really not lose it. I know that we have so far lost one brother, a young man in the diaspora. He felt hopeless, and he took his own life. And that's not what we want to see. That's not what we want to happen. So that young girl voice that I brought in is that it made us all smile regardless. So I think that is the courage that we have. That's the strength that we have as Tegaru. So I appreciate you guys. If you want to take a minute or two to do a final say, I don't have particular order for you guys to go. So whoever wants to say something, and then followed by, I am going to sit here and let you guys do your closing statement, please.
Okay, I can go. I want to say to whoever can see this back home, to my family, I love you guys, and this is to everybody. Like everyone's my family, right? I love you guys. We are with you. We are fighting for you. Just remember that we are here for you. Like that's all we're thinking about day in, day night, day in and day out. Like that's all we need for you to understand that we're here for you. You're not alone. We love you. And you know, I hope that people can see this. And you know, I don't think there's anything else to say actually. I just love you guys and Tigray will prevail for sure, 100%.
Thank you. Anybody who can do a closing statement? I will jump in before you go. My buddy Ephraim just reminded me. Oops. So we would love for those of you who are following us, or for those who are first timer, to share it, to let people know. Please subscribe Cyber Power of Tigray on YouTube, Facebook. All you got to do is just click the like, and then you'll be able to, every time we go live, you'll be able to know what's going on. We'll update you, and we always are open for feedbacks. So this is for all of us. Cyber Power Tigray is open for everybody, for all Tegaru, to be the platform to share, to discuss, to, you know, educate our people, but also work together as a community. So this is a community-based platform, and I want to make sure that everybody's aware what we do is humbly just decided, just like all of you guys, we volunteer our time to bring you every information that we find, and we don't go make up stories. We bring it as we see it, as it happens, based on facts. So I will say that, and then whoever is ready to go, please go ahead.
I mean, I can go, and definitely, as Fanon said it, definitely, you know, I can speak on behalf of all of us as well. Just like, you know, we miss everybody, and I think at this point, like, you know, one person hurts in Tigray, we all hurt, and we miss you guys so much, and we love you guys so much, and you know, we're fighting day and night here to fight for your peace and justice, and it's just your resilience is unmatched, and we're amazed. And you're fighting it out from there, and we're gonna fight it out from here. And Ajona, you know, that almat maalti ጨረስያሞ ናብ peaceful and prospering ጊዜ ከም ንመጽእ like ይኣምን እየ. And I think that hope is like in us. You just can look at us as young Tagarus out here, and we're ready to work and for Tigray and for our future country.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, before me and Sam I'll go into their content.
No, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. But to my family, like that is in Tigray, I will keep chanting and screaming and shouting whatever necessary until I lose my voice. Until I get to hear, you know, my grandmother's voice, anyone's voice in Tigray, to be honest. And we are with you, and the youth we will fight, we will chant, we will protest, we will sign petitions, we will do whatever necessary so that we can have you back, so what we can see your faces, we can hear your voices. And I love you, and you know, I can't wait till I get to see you, and I'm manifesting that I will get to see you, and I will get to hug you, and you know, just tell you how much I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Seriously. That's all what we were wishing for, what we were dreaming for. So sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you somehow, but you guys are all like just said it all, but it's just, that is really the key that we're looking for. So thank you. Somehow, go ahead.
No, you definitely, you're good. That, you know, my sisters, they said it all. At the end of the day, you know, our fight is the same. Our fight is for our people. Our fight is to make sure that our people can live again. Our fight is to make sure that our people, you know, don't have to be scared that, you know, they're going to be bombed, or whether or not they're going to live through the day. You know, I think they're calling us Digital Oyani. Is that what we're called?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to everyone who's watching, to everyone who's not watching, who may be watching this later on, it's just, I think it's really important that we all stay strong, no matter what what disagreements we go through, no matter the stress that we have built upon us, no matter how many sleepless nights we go. If we're not strong, then our voices are not strong. If we don't stay unified, then our voices are not unified. Whether you're in the Bay Area, whether you're in LA, Las Vegas, New York, DMV, all of our hearts are in the same place. This movement is not just because, you know, our family is dying, but it's because, you know, Tigray is dying. One life lost is too many already, right? You know, no matter how many people are going to counter you, no matter how many people are going to go, you know, against you and tell you that you're wrong, it's so important that we stay strong. It's so important that we make sure that we're a part of our communities and that we're talking to our families, and that sorry, the protest is making me lose my voice as well.
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of going in and out, but you know, it's just, and I also want to thank all the media sources that we have, you know, here, Cyber Power of Tigray, TMH, Dimtsa Wayani, Digital Wayani, you know, all the media sources that have been providing us with all the information, providing us with, you know, the information that we need about our people. You know, some of you guys wake up in the middle of the night to provide us with the news. Some of you guys wake up, you know, 12:30 to, you know, make sure that the Tegaru diaspora know what's going on in their country. So I want to say thank you to you guys as well. I know I'm going kind of long, but I also just want to say thank you to the youth who have prospered. I want to say thank you to the youth who have stayed strong throughout all this. Thank you to our brothers and sisters who are not Tegaru, who have been with us throughout this fight. Thank you to the people who have listened to us and who have began to take action and began to you know, start the steps into making sure that Tigray does prevail, and Tigray will prevail. So thank you.
Indeed.
Can I add
And
one more thing?
oh no, I'm not done talking. Go ahead.
Sorry.
But make sure we educate what this means.
Of course.
Okay. So what I wanted to say was to everybody that is at Tigray, all the civilians, all the people that are fighting in this war, the leaders, I just wanted to emphasize that we are all really proud of you. Your resilience is amazing. Hearing anything from you encourages us. It makes us go harder. So I just want to say that we are very, very proud of you guys. Like, thank you for being who you are, being Tegaru. Just like the energy that we all have as Tegaru people is just amazing. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I really appreciate you guys. Again, I can't emphasize enough. It's been a long day for you guys. I really appreciated you willingness to come on in a short notice to you know, share with us your full preparation and experience, you know, throughout the day today. And I know that you also got school and everything else. So this is what Tegaru means. So I'd promised at the beginning that I was going to speak Tigrinya throughout, but I did sort of didn't, you know, follow through what I say. So rather than doing my closing statement both in English and Tigrinya, I'm going to focus in Tigrinya instead. So if you guys don't mind me, for the audience, you heard it all from this vibrant young Tegaru who would be part of the Tigray generation, the Tigray rebuild. These are not politicians. These are young people who work very hard, really, for peace and justice. So I'm going to now switch from English to Tigrinya. So I appreciate all of you who are listening to us, who are following us around the world. Please follow us as you hop into YouTube and Facebook. But ኣብ ዘለኹም ክቡራት ኣሕዋት ተኸታተልትና ኣብዚዩ ያው قريبنايوم ዘለና ኣብቲ መጀመርታ ሚሊዮኔር እየ ትግርኛ ገይረ ሕፅር ኣቢለ ክጨርሸልኩም ናይ ትግራይ ተወልዑ ዘሎ ሓዊ ፀላይ በዚሕዋ ዘሎ ብዝገበረቶ ክንዲ ዘብልዐት ክንዲ ዘፅገበት ንሃገር ናይ ኢትዮጵያ ሙሉእ ኤርትራ ህዝብን ያው ቃልሲ ተዋሂዱ ቃልሲ ዘየላይ ዝገበሮ ዘይብሉ ማንም ህፃን ቆልዓን መንእሰይን ክሕረድ ክቅተል ዝውዕል ዘሎ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ኣሕዋትና ዝደፈራ ዘለዋ ቤተክርስትያናት መስጊዳት ዝፈርስ ዘሎ ናይ ግለታትና ናይ መንግስቲ ንብረታት ዝተወረሰ ዝተሰርቀ ተሰሪቁ ናብ ኤርትራ ከይዱ ዘሎ ኤርትራውያን እቶም ጥዑያት ኮይኖም ምሳና ዝዝግፉና ዘለው ምሳና መፅኦም ሰላማዊ ሰልፊ ዝገብሩ ዘለው እስቲ ይቀፅልሉ ንርአዮ እስቲ ናይ ብሓቂ ተኮይኑ ሲ ንርአዮም እስቲ ክልተ ገጽ እንተኮይኖም ግን በእንግሊዝኛ ዳብል ፌስ ንብሎ ዳብል ፌስ ማለት እንታይ እዩ ንኣና ገጽና ክሪኡ ፅቡቅ ይዛረቡና ገጾም ክዓፅም ከለው ግን ከም ፀለምቲ ከም ፀዓዱን ፀለምቲ እዚኦም ሓደ ዓይነት እዮም ኢሎም ገጾም ዓፅዮም ሕማቅ ይዛረቡ ደገ ወፅኦም ግን ንፀሊም ኣይፈቱን እየ ዝብሉ ፀዓዱ ኣለው እዮም ስለዚ ኣምሓሮ ኮኑ ኤርትራውያን ኮኑ ቀንዲ ሒዚ ኣብቲ መጀመርታ ኣምሓራ ናይ ኣምሓራ ዓልየት ናይ ፋኖ ዓልየት እዩ ንህዝብና ናይ መጨረሻ ዘጥቅዖ ናይ መጨረሻ ዝሓረዶ ብገዘሞ ብኻራ ኣብ ማይ ካድራ ኣብ ካሊእ ቦታታት ማለት እዩ እዚ ግፍዒ ሰሪሖም ግን ኣብቲ መጨረሽኡ ብዓለም ሕጊ ክሕተቱ እዮም እናተባሃለ ዘረባ ምስ መፀ እቶም ሓይሊ ዝነበሮም ሽዑ ከዓን እቲ ናይ ጅግና ናይ ትግራይ መከላካይ ደምሲስዎም እዩ ምስ ተደምሰሶም መጨረሲ ምስ ጨነቆም ኤርትራ ከዓን መፂኡ ኣብ ኩናት ዓቕሚ የላን ጉራ ስርቂ ካብ ኢሳያስ ካብ ናሃቱ ኮራኹር ናይ ሻዕብያ መርሰነሪ ዝበሃል ብእንግሊዝኛ ማለት እዩ እዚ መርሰነሪ ማለት ኮራኹር ማለት እዩ ኮይኖም መሬት ትግራይ ዝነቕልዎ ዘለው ህዝብና ዝወርዎ ዘለው ኣብ ሕማቅ መከራ ኣምፅኦሞ ዘለው እዚኦም ክንርስዖም ኣይኮናን ኢና ምስኦም ኣሕዋት ኮይና ክንነበር ኣይኮናን ኢና ስለዚ እንታይ ክብለኩም እየ ኣሕዋት ሓሪንኩም ዘለኹም ሓዚንኩም ዘለኹም ብኡ ኣይኮነን ክንፈትሖ ተጋሩ ንሕና ተዓንተው ዘርኢኽዎ ሕፅረ ቢለ ፊልም ዝነበረ ናብ ሱዳን እናተሰደደ ዝኩሉ ትግራይ ህዝቢ ብደርግም መከራ ርኢና ኢና ዝሞተ ሞይቱ ንህዝቢ ትግራይማ ንኩሉ ቀቲሎም ኣይውድእዎን እዮም ወያነ ተሳዒር ማለት ከዓ ብስሩስ ዘየለ እዩ ተሰሚዑ ይፈልጥን 500,000 ወታደር ናብ ትግራይ ኣትዩ ኢትዮጵያ ኣብ ዝሓለፈ ወርሒ 180,000 ወታደራ ካብ ክፍያ ወርሓዊ ደመወዝ ተሰሪዙ እዩ እዚ ተሰረዘ ዘሎ እንታይ እዩ 180,000 ወታደር ረጊፎ መሬት ትግራይ ረመፅ ስለ ዝኾነ እዩ ካሊእ ትረፍማ ናይ ሻዕብያ ወታደር ናይ ትግራይ መከላካይ ዝሞቱ እቶም ሓለፍቲ ኮሮና ቫይረስ እዩ ቀቲልዎም ይብሉና ኮሮና ቫይረስ ማ ናይ ትግራይ መከላካይ እዩ ናይ ትግራይ ልዩ ሃይል መፅኡ ብግንባሮም ጥይት ጣዕ የብሎም ምስ ወደቁ ኮሮና ቫይረስ ኢሉ ኮሮና ቫይረስ ኣይኮነን ንስማ ናይ ትግራይ ዲፈንስ ፎርስ ኮሮና ቫይረስ ናይ 2201 ፈረንጅ ኣቆፃፅራ ሓድሽ ኮሮና ቫይረስ ኣብ ትግራይ ተወለደን ኮሮና ቫይረስ ኣብ ትግራይ ኣይኮነን ተፈጢሩ ስለዚ ኮሮና ዝብሉ ዘለው እስካብ 10 ዝኾኑ ናይ ኤርትራውያን ብኤርትራ ግሓትን ምሸትን ዘርእዩና ዘለው ጉራ ሕሶት ስርቂ ኢሳያስ ኣፈወርቅማ 30 ዓመት ንሃገሩ ወሪሩ ስርቅን ሕሶትን እዮም ሂሩ ንህዝቡ ካሊእ ዘምሃሮ የለን ስለዚ እዞም ግፍዕኛታት ኤርትራውያን ንህዝብና ዘሳቂዎ ዘለው ሓደ እግሪ ክትንክፉ ተለው ክልተ እግሮም ክንቆርፆም ኢና ሓደ ዓይኒ ከንቁሩ ተለው ክልተ ዓይነቶም ክነንቁሮም ኢና ሕነ ምፍዳይ ኣይተርፍን እዩ ዓይኒ ሓደ ኢኹም ሕማቕ ኣይትዛረቡ ኣየድልየናን ገለ ትብሉ ኢኹም ግን እዚ ትክክለኛ ኣይኮነን ንሕና ታራ ዝኾነ ሰብ ስነ ስርዓት ዘለዎ ሰብ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ቆልዑታት ኣብ ኩናት ዘይኣተው ሕማቕ ዘይገብሩ ንኦም ሕማቕ ገበርዎም ንኦም ሕደ ንፍደ ንብለሉ መገዲ የብልናን ኢና ነቶም ብረት ሒዞም መፅኦም ኣሕዋትና ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ክብሪ ዘይብሎም ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ዝትንክፍ ብስነ ስርዓት ውግእ ዘይዋጋእ ኣብ ውግእ እናተሸነፈ ንዕጥቂ ዘይብሉ ብጥሜትን ብድኽነትን ኣብ ገዝኡ ዝድቅስ ሰብ ንኣተው ዝሓርዱ ካሊእ ትረፍ ደቂ 11 12 ህፃውንቲ ቆልዑ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ምንም ዘይፈልጣ እዚኦም ብዓለገታት ገሊኦም ኤድስ ዝሓዞም እንደሃለው ሕማማት በሽታ ዘለዎም እንዳሃለዎም ናይ መጨረሻ ግፍዒ እዮም ዝሰርሑ ዘለዉ ብኣሕዋትና ስለዚ እዚ ዝርሳዕ ኣይኮነን ክሕዝነኩም ግን ኣይኮነን ዝዛረቡ ዘለኹ እዚ እንታይ እዩ ኣብ ልብና እዚ ኣሕዲርና ኩሉ ፀላእይና ከዓ ጌርና ንርአዩ ኩሉ ፀላእይና ኣይኮነን بموسو تحاوسن هي يو مسيرترا مسامحارا مس رومو مسكالي بهراتنا إثيوبيا ኣለውና እዮም ግን ጸላእትና ክንፈልጥ ኣለና ዳብል ፌስ ወልኩም ንሱ እዩ ጸላእትና ፈሊጥና ሰውሕንኮ ትግራይ ናጽነትና ሓራ ምስ ሓዝና እቲ ናይ ትግራይ ዝተወረረ መሬት እቲ ናይ ትግራይ ዝዓነው ዑነታት ክንትከኦ ኢና ክንምልሶ ኢና እቲ ዝሞተ ህዝቢ ግን ኣይምለስን ኣነ ንሱ ይዘሕዝነኒ ካሊእ ካብቲ ዝበለጸ ገርና ክንምልሶ ኢና حين فلادي خا نرو يمينا لتግራይ ኣምሓራ ኤርትራ መጽኦም ሞክሮም ኣይረኽቦን እዮም ብስሩ ኣይነበረን እዩ እቲ 500,000 ወታደር እተን ኣየራት እተን ድሮን ዝኩሎም ጽዮምማ ተሓምሽሾም እዮም ተሪፎም ተዋሪዶም እዮም ሕዝኮ ውርደት ኮይንዎም ቆዩ ዝጨነቆም እዮም ፈንዲ ተጋሩስ ንሕና ምሳኹም ኤርትራውያን በተለይሲ ትግርኛ ኢና ንዛረብ ሓደ ኢና ኢሎም ንትግራይ ክንዲ ዝድግፉ ንትግራይ ወረርቲ መዕነውቲ ኮይኖም ዘለዉ ኤርትራውያን ክንርስዖ የብልናኒና ዘረባ ኣንውሕቢለ ኣለኹ እዘን መናእሰይ ብጣዕሚ ደኺምዎን እዩ ዘለና የቕኒየለይ ክብረት ይሃበለይ ኣየኹም ኣዮና ዘለዓለም ትግራይ ማንም ሰብ ከም ዘይደፍራ ጀጋኑ ኣዶታትና ጀጋኑ እናወለዳ ደቂ ኣንስትዮን ደቂ ተባዕትዮን ጎኒ ጎኒ ኮይኖም ንሃትና ኣብ ሜዳ ትግራይ ብዝባኖም ጥይት ኣይቅበሉን ብግንባሮም እዮም ማንም ጸላኢ ኣትዩ ትግራይ ዝዕንድረሉ ኣይኮነን ጽባሕ ንጎ ድማ መሬት ምስ ወግሐ እዞም ኣብዚና መናእሰይ ኣሕዋትና ንሕና ኩልና ተኣኪብና ሳይበር ፓወር እውን ኮይኑ ኣብ መቐለ ኸይድና ሓደ ግዜ ንዕለሉ ንማየጠሉ ምስ ህዝብና ንስሕቀሉ ምስ ህዝብና ንሓቕፈሉ ንማየጠሉ ግዜ ንዕንድረሉ ሃገርና ክመጽእ እዩ ጽባሕ ንጎ እስካብ ሽዑ ግን ኣይትጨነቁ ኣየኹም ኣዮና ትግራይ ክትዕወት እያ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ኩሉ ግዜ መከራ ሓሊፉ ግን ማንኛውም ግዜ ዘይሰዓረሉ ምልክት ምስክር ከምጽእ እዩ ኣምጽእ እዩ ቅድሚ ሕዚ ሳልሳይ ኩናት መጽኡን ተፈቲሑ ዝንሄማ ጅግንነትና ዝነበረ እዩ ስለተዛረብናዮ ጉረኛሃት ኣይኮንና ንሕና ኣብ ግብሪ ኢና ነርኢ ኣብ ግብሪ ኢና ንሰርሖ ስለዚሁ ዝሰርሕዎ ዘለዉ ዓወታት ናይ ሒዝ 3 መዓልቲ ርኢኹምን ኢኹም ለይቲ ተስየየ ተደዊሉኒ ሓድሽ ዜና ይመሓላለፍ ኣሎ ከምዚ ብድምፂ ወያነን ናይ DW ኢንተርናሽናል ብእንግሊዝኛ ማለት እዩ ዝመሓላለፍ ዝነበረ ኣመሓላሊፈልኩም እየ ስለዚሁ ኣብ ሓድሽ ዜናታት ዝመፀሉ እዋናት እውን ለይቲ ኮነ ቀትሪ ክነመሓላለፍ ኢና ተረፈ የቕኒየለይ ክብረት ይሃበለይ እዘን መናእሰይ ኣሕዋትና ድማ ኣብ ቀጻሊ ግዜ ብክብሪ ዓዲምና መጽአን እንደገና ዝሓሳባት እዚዩ ምስኻትኩም ክረዳኣ ናይዛ ኣጥዕናኹም ኣየኹም ተኸናኸኑ ብዙሕ ኣይትሕዘኑ ብዙሕ ኣይትብከዩ ከምኡ ኣይኮነን መፍትሒኡ ኢለን ሓሳባት ዘቕርባልኩም በእንግሊዝኛ እዩ ነይሩ ብሓፂሩ ክብለኩም እየ ጀጋኑ ኣሕዋትና ንዓለም ክፈልጦ ንዓለም ክርድኦ በእንግሊዝኛ ቋንቋታት እናተዘጋጀወ ቀኒየን ሎማዓንቲ ኣብ ካሊፎርኒያ ዓብይ ሰላማዊ ሰልፊ ትገይሩ ዝወዓላ ኣብ ውዒለን መፅአን ከዓ እዚ ሓሳባት እዚ በእንግሊዝኛ ኣመሓላልፈን ኣለዋ ብሓፂሩ ትግርኛ ዝብለኩም ግን እቲ ኣግፊሕና ዘውጋዕናዮ ብሓፂሩ እንታይ እዩ ንህዝቢ ትግራይ ኣብ ጎንኹም ኣለና ኣየኹም ንሕና መናእሰይ ኣብ ስደት ዘለና ካብ ተጋሩ ተወለድቲ በቃ ትግርኛ ዋላ ብደንቢ እንተዘይዛረብናኩም በቲ ቋንቋና ይሰምዓየን ብደንቢ ትግርኛ ምዝራብ እውን ብዙሕ ኣይከበደንን ግን ብእንግሊዝኛ ንጎሮ እንግሊዝኛ ቋንቋ ስለ ዝኾነ እዩ ዕላማይ ናይ እዚ ኣነ ብክብሪ እዩ ብዙሕ እኒሄን እኔውን እዮም ክንደይ ኣብ ኣዲስ ኣበባ ተወለዱ ከም ፍናን ኣብነት ከምኡ ካልኦት እውን መጀመርታ እዚ ክጅምሮ ተለኹ ተወሰኑ ኣብ ኣዲስ ኣበባ ተወሊዶም ኣብ ካናዳ ኣሜሪካ ዝኔው ተጋሩ እዮም በይዛኻ እንዶ እንግሊዝኛ ቋንቋ መኩር እንዶ እንታይ ኣለዎ ንሕና ትግርኛ ስለ ዝከብደና ኢሎም ሪች ኣውት ገይሮምና ስለዚ ኢና ሳይበር ፓወር ትግራይ ተመሓላልፎ ዘሎ ሳይበር ፓወር ትግራይ ካ ብዩቱብ ብፌስቡክ ተኸታተሉና ኣብ ዩቱብ ሰብስክራይብ ገርዎ ኣብ ፌስቡክ ከኣን እታ ኢድ ከምዚኣ ትብል ዘላ ቸክ ገርዋ ንሓንሕደሩ የቕኒየለይ Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to end the broadcasting. I'm going to catch up with you guys in a sec. It's going to still keep you alive, but I'm going to end this broadcasting for now. Oh, I can't even talk anymore. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Good night to our listeners. And salam, I think, is what we can say.